All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. We've got John here, and today we're going to be dropping this big tree here. It's not a gigantuan tree, but it's a pretty big tree. It's probably one of the bigger ones I've ever dropped. But the size isn't really the thing that's concerning me with this tree. The fact that you might see here, there's a giant void here in the tree, and that was a pretty sizable limb many years back that had broken off, and as you can see, it began to sort of try to grow, and close itself up, kind of grow in on itself, but was never truly successful. Some animals, I've seen snakes up in there, I've seen raccoons up in there doing their thing. So considering that that's been sort of a haven for animals and whatever else, I'm not really sure what this looks like down here. So this could be a really sketchy, dangerous situation. All right, so there it is. There was a big, how can I say, a big hump there of dirt. I wanted to be sure that I got that out of there. That way when that part of the log fell down onto it, I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to deflect it back this way. So obviously I'm dropping it that way. I'm going to try to take a little bit more off that stump there, just to give myself less things to jump over if I have to, and then my exit route will be down through here, and hopefully things will go okay. So ideally, the tree obviously leans that way. But anybody who messes around with trees, dropping them, things like that, or even, folks who do the opposite of deal with problem trees, and they try to save them, arborists, things like that, they all tend to kind of realize that as these trees grow, typically the canopy grows a certain way to keep it balanced out, also along with the root system as well. So it does have a lean to it, because I'm subtracting the root system from its stability, obviously, by cutting into the trunk, where the hope is that it's going to lean that way up the property there. So I'll pan around here to the left some. So my hopes is, I have a little bit of wind, and of course it's going the direction I don't want it to. The hopes is to get it to fall somewhere along this line here of what do you call it, ragweed, where the grass and the ragweed are. So but there is a high likelihood that it's going to end up somewhere over here. I feel pretty confident that the house or the deck, I feel like none of the important things here are within reach of the tree. It's kind of a hunch, but I'm going to show you how I've come to the determination, and the way I figure it out is based on something I saw years past, and let's see if it's hocus pocus. All right, so the hocus pocus that I speak of, trying to remember what YouTube channel it was, and I know you're not supposed to believe everything you see. However, this has worked for me. I haven't had any issues, but let me show you how it is that I come to that conclusion. So typically what Folklore says is that you can determine the height of that tree by setting a branch, a stick, anything. I'm using a piece of PEX tubing here. So from this part of your hand, right where the crotch is between your thumb and your index finger, from that point, okay, as your base mark at the base of the tree, okay, and what you do is you put your arm straight out in front of you like this, literally 90 degrees across your chest, straight out in front of you, okay, and you take whatever it is device you use for measuring, and you bring it right into your shoulder, right up here, about that far, okay? And what you do is you stand like this, you close one eye, and you put this part where the PEX tubing is meeting my hand, right in that crotch there, right at the base of the tree. You hold it there and you look up, okay? And if the stick or whatever measuring device you choose is taller than the top of the canopy of the tree, it won't hit whatever it is that you have directly at your back. So the way I would do this in this case, okay, this is my concern. I don't want it to be able to reach this point. This point is the closest point to that tree from any other point of the house or the deck. So what I'll do is I'll put my back up against the corner, okay? I'll reach my arm out 90 degrees, okay? It's all the way up, all right? And then what I'll do is I'll stand up the measuring stick, I look up, and this is showing that it's quite a bit higher than the top of the tree. Now, also, the neat thing about this is you can also determine with a measuring device like a long tape, or I'm going to use the GPS measuring device on my phone, and I'm going to measure from the corner of the house to the base of the tree. And we're going to see roughly how tall that tree could be. All right, so the app that I'm using, it came with the phone, okay? So I don't really know. I mean, I guess you can go on the Apple Store or whatever, find it. But you click on that app, okay? And in the middle of the screen, I don't know if you could see it, it shows up a little bit. There's a little white dot with a circle around it. That's what you use to pinpoint your target areas, right? So over here, my target area is the corner of the house, okay? So I get to the corner of the house, hit the plus sign, and as you drag it, see if Teresa can show, there's like a little dotted line, and it's got that little semi-translucent thing there, and it shows 3 feet 8 inches, okay? So I'm gonna walk all the way across to the tree, okay? Hopefully I don't trip as I'm walking here, but so I'm gonna walk all the way over to the base of the tree, and that little tiny semi-translucent white thing with the numbers on it, it usually disappears for a little bit. Don't mind me, the ground I'm walking on is very uneven. So let's see. I'm trying to look in the camera and look where I'm stepping to at the same time. All right, we are over to the tree. All right, so we are at the base of the tree now. So let's see. Now, I don't know. I don't think that's accurate. See that? It's showing 132 feet. I think the satellite's a little off, but that's showing 133 feet. So I'm not really confident in that. So, however, I will say that I have used the method before, and it has always worked. Maybe the tree is 132 feet. I don't think so. I think that GPS is a bit off. I've used this thing a bunch of times and it comes out pretty accurate usually, but that'll be another video, I think. So hopefully, if that tree goes down, it ain't gonna reach anything important. But yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. Folklore or no folklore, we're in for it. So keep your eye on the camera. Who knows what's going to happen today? right, everybody. So it's now, as you can see, sun's going down the end of the day, and the cool Canadian air is kind of coming over the ridge here and chilling me a little bit. So between my back getting hurt earlier today at work and then kind of struggling through that cut, I just with my back, I just couldn't handle the saw. It just after about probably 5 minutes of goofing around with the saw, my back was just giving out. So, and also I think the rakers on that chain, maybe I touched them a little heavy, so I was kind of having a hard time with that too. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it good for this video, and I'm sure you can imagine you know what more I have to do here. You can see we were out here cleaning up the best we can, get the arena accessible again, and also get the path around the other side of the arena here cleared out in case some of our friends wanted to ride their horses through the area. So but yeah, that was a successful drop, thankfully. I'll show you the cut and you know how it turned out. I don't think it turned out too bad. Like I said, I've dropped a lot of trees in my younger life. I know I'm only 44, but you know, believe it or not, you know, around 15 years old and you know up to probably, I don't know, 17, I've probably dropped more trees in those years of my life. Nothing quite this big, but I've dropped a lot of trees. However, we were just kind of haphazardly dropping them, right? So I really didn't know what I was doing then. You know, I had some tips, you know, from somebody on how to do it as safe as possible. And really that's the most training I've had. Everything else has just kind of been, you know, what I remember, and that's really about it. So I'm gonna get you a little bit close up, show you the notch, and or I should say the hinge in this case, and see how it looks. Sounds like the birds over here, the ravens, are pretty mad. They're pretty mad because I took down one of their perches here, but let's go check it out. So I apologize if I'm yelling. My ears are freezing right now. So this is what you look like, okay? To give you an idea, let me zoom out a little bit. All right, so you can see I had to cut in about 8 inches here to make sure that my bar would go through. So let's see. Okay, we're at 34 there. So straight over top, we're looking at about 40 inches. That's what I kind of expected. And this way, now that it really matters, but it's about 32, 30, 31 and a half, something like that way. So yeah, she's not a small tree. She's a biggie. And yeah, you can see even here, you can see where my bar stopped right there, right? Because I had to come in from the other side and you know, get that to come through. Now, as far as my hinge is concerned, I wanted to keep this side fat to make sure that it held, you know, away from the house rather than toward it. And I tried to get an even taper all the way down to almost nothing there. That's really right there. That was when I was doing my face cut. Got a little excited there. But here is when I did the back cut. And, you know, it kind of tapered here. And then I kind of tapered off again, which, like I said, definitely the biggest tree I've dropped for sure. So the hinge wood here, you know, the fibers, thankfully there was fiber here and most of the heartwood. You could see out here, it starts getting a bit punky. And that's what I was concerned about. I was worried that the majority of that heartwood was going to be punky. So I'm very happy to see that I was actually able to establish a legitimate hinge. Trying to see. I mean, heck, even the outside here isn't terribly punky. I would say here is when, you know, the heartwood's got a lot of fiber left and it just kind of tapers off, and all that there is pretty much punky. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the results. So I'm going to stop chewing your ear off here, and I'm going to go inside for the evening, chill out, and maybe do some editing. And I'll see you guys on the next video. So if you like this kind of stuff here in the Mount Tammany Ridge channel, feel free to hit me up in the comments, ask questions, things like that. Always helps the algorithm. And if you could, hit that like button, subscribe, share it with some of your friends. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take her easy.